every answer has to be in this form. So my final answer for question number 1 is going to be like this. I just have to figure out what the M and the B are. This is where the M goes, this is where the B goes, okay? On that second page, we did a couple of these in class. So as I'm looking at these, if you don't have a 0, again, what is your answer going to look like? Our answer is always going to be y equals mx plus b for every single equation. The key thing is that you need to know the 0 point. So they ask you to find the rate of change. So what we put down in our notes on Friday, and so those of you if you didn't write it down, we want to make sure that when you find M is going to be the change in y divided by the change in x. So if you are looking at that, anytime you find the slope, that is your M. And I saw some people just put that as their equation. So I was walking around and they had change y, change x. Remember, this is the change in y. Okay, so change in y divided by your change in x. That is nowhere close to my equation. My equation is going to be this, so y equals mx plus b. So here I'm looking for the change in x. If I look at number 8, how are my y values changing going from 2 to 4 to 6 as I am looking at those growing? How are the y values changing? Going from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. How is the y changing? We are doing what? Adding 2. And then, Dan, how are the y's changing when I look at going from 1 to 3 to 5 to 7? 2. Adding 2 also. So 2 divided by 2 leaves us a change, Caitlin, of 1. That's going to be in my equation. That's going to be right here. That is the M, right? So we've just found the M in our equation, looking at the tables. Now I need to find the B. Well, it said in order to find the B, the y-intercept, it's when x is 0. We don't have an x0 in this one. So we got to go before 1, and we got to put in the number 0. And if we said the rate of change was 1, I just want you to notice they skipped a number here, right? They didn't put 2 in. So could you have put 2 in, and down below 2 would have been the number 3, right? And if we would have had 4, they didn't have it. In between 4 and 6, you would have had 5. So someone said, oh, I should go back to 0 here. No, you're going back just 1 unit. And our rate of change, our slope was 1. So if I go back from 2 1 unit, it should be 1. And so my answer to the question is, when I write my equation, y equals mx plus b. I now have the m, which was 1. And I have the b, looking at 0, 1, that goes back here. And this is always going to be our b value, okay? Questions on any other? The rate of change in the equation is often going to have the word per with it, okay? And then you're going to find your starting point. So, questions on any of those? Some of you have them done, some of you equation in 16. The one with the per is our 3, so that's going to be here. 3 is our slope. The starting, the y-intercept, is where we start out, which we said there's an upfront charge of $49. So my equation that I'm writing for my answer in 16 should have looked like y equals 3x plus 49. If you didn't do this, make sure you have this down. On your paper, you should be writing. What does the meaning of the slope? So what does 3 mean? 3 means, what are we talking about up here? What did it say? So the M means, of 3 means $3. So we're going to put our dollar sign, $3 per shirt, right? That's what the slope means in this situation. What does the y-intercept mean? Well, we said B was 49. What does it mean in this situation? It means we started with $49 fee up front. So each situation is going to be different, but when I'm looking for the meaning on the test of what is the slope, I'm going to look for that you have the dollar sign per shirt. I'm going to look that you told me it starts with a fee of $49. That's what we're looking at those questions, okay? Any other one? M should be -2. So first thing we want to write down, for those of you that haven't done this on 21, you're going to write down -2, but more importantly, we're going to write that now as a fraction, which is -2/1. Then we need to identify our B. Joe, our B, or our y-intercept, is 2, 0, 2. So at this point, we are going to graph that. I'm going to start, Ashley, at what point? I'm going to go, so from the origin, I'm going to go to the right 2 or up 2? So when I think of 0, 2, the first number tells me left or right, and the second one tells me up or down. So when I am looking at graphing that point, this point is 2, 0. This point is 0, 2. You always want to go to the y line. So some of you are not going to your y line. You're going, so when we look at this, always your start point has to be on this line, okay? So I start at 0, 2. Once I've started at 0, 2, I might draw that base to help me graph. Positive slope goes up. Negative slope goes down. If it's a 0 slope, it's going to be a horizontal line. And remember, we had the nose as being the undefined. You're not going to have any graphs on this page where it's undefined. But at this point, because I know this is negative, I know my line has to go down. I'm going to go down 2 and over 1. Down 2 and over 1, and then a straight edge to draw that. Answers are on the notes from Friday, so if you do need to check them. What I want you to take a look at right now is page 39. The initial value, the rate of change in a situation. So what you're going to do, it says if we take 2 containers and pour water from one into the other, the water level in the second one rises, you agree, as we're filling this up, and this one is going to be decreasing. It says, how is this situation represented with our slope? What I need you to write down, please put your head up. I know some of you didn't get a lot of sleep this weekend. Please write down, the slope is the unit rate. How many centimeters per second the water rises. Please write that right now in your notes. Some of you aren't writing. I need you to write that. This, right here, was in that box. You're going to, like, I need you. It says, how is the slope represented? I need you to write. The slope is the unit rate. How many centimeters per second the water rises. How is the y-intercept in this situation? The y-intercept is the amount of water in the container to begin with. So if this one started with nothing in it, you would have started at 0, 0. If you are filling it up, would our slope be positive or negative if it's going up? Positive. Whereas the slope in this one, we're losing water, would be negative, right? Okay. So you need to think of those two situations. Does everyone have that copied down? No. So those will involve a number of pictures that look like the top of a container that is emptying water into a lower container. First, you must analyze the picture and ask questions like, how much water is in the top container? This one begins with how much? 4 centimeters, right? How fast is the water going up? They tell us the change in height is, so the top one, the B would be 4, and the M would be positive 2 or negative 2. Negative 2. What are we talking about? Centimeters per second, right? So labeling ours, okay, put this right in your notes. This is going to help you when you are working with your partner. But it says, well, how much water was in our lower container? This one started with B equaling what? 2 centimeters. But what do we know the slope is down here? If it was negative 2 on the top, on the bottom it has to be positive 2 centimeters per second, right? Because it's filling with 2 centimeters per second. So it says, is there missing information? So sometimes on our cards, you're going to have something missing. It says you may want to write the slope and the y-intercept on the back of the card, and what I'll probably have to do is with these pictures, write it on the front. So you can determine some cards are missing information, that you won't have right away. It says in this picture, if we are identifying, we just said the top one started with 4 centimeters, the lower one started with 2 centimeters. The water is draining out at a rate of 2 centimeters per second. On the top, we think of that as -2, on the bottom, +2. So, next page in your notes. It says you will have 12 graph cards and 12 equation cards. Second, you must analyze the graphs. Is it showing the container filling or emptying? How much water was there to begin with? How fast is the water level changing? That's talking about our rate of change, centimeters per second. And what information is missing, like on the scale. So I'm going to give you some information on your cards, but this one, what is our B value? The B value on this graph is what? 6, right? What is our B value on this one? 2, right? At 0, it's at 2. At 0 here, it's at 6. If this goes down 6 centimeters in 3 seconds, what is my rate of change? Positive or negative? It goes down 6 in 3. So -6 over 3 gives us a -2. So I'm going to match that to the equation that has a slope of -2 when I do the problem. It says you can write the slope and y-intercept on the back of these cards as you are looking at it. And then the last thing you're going to be asked to do is you're going to be asked to match the graph card with the correct equation. One equation card is going to be blank. You will have to write the correct equation on it, and you'll need to match them. So this one is telling us, if I looked at this, that my y-intercept, my b is 2. What is this one telling me my y-intercept or b is in that second equation? It is 6, right? In this first one, what does it tell me my rate of change or slope is? -1. What is my rate of change or slope in this one? -2. So each time you look at those equations, that's kind of what you want to look at when you are doing the problems. So the fourth thing you must do is match each picture with 2 equations and graphs. There is a graph and an equation at the top container. So there is a graph and an equation for the top container. So the top container, when you look at the pictures, which I'll show you in a minute, when you look at mine that I'm showing you up here, this top container, as I look at this one, this is the graph that goes with the top, this is the equation. This bottom picture right here, this is showing the graph that goes with the bottom and the equation that goes with the bottom. So when you look at yours, it'll be, this will be an equation, this will be the graph, this will be a graph, and this will be an equation, okay? And in the middle will be the picture. So you're going to look at the graphs, equations, and pictures. Look for the ones with the same slopes. Then look for the ones that have the same y-intercepts. You'll fill in the blank pictures and the blank graphs. Lastly, you must attach all these cards in this order, where it will be equation, graph at the top, picture, graph at the bottom, another equation. So your whole project ends up looking kind of like this, depending on which way you look. Okay? All your sheets with the information, look at the graphs, the equation, and the picture. You want to find the ones that have the same slope. Look for the graphs, equation, pictures that have the same y-intercept. Fill in the blank ones. Well, when you look at your equation, right, on this one, what do you know the m equals on that first E1? -1. So now I'm going to look at my pictures over here. Which one of these has a -1 as the rate of change? Which one has a rate -1? Well, there's 2 of them that have -1, right? This one has a height of 1, and this one has a rate of change, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter. So the -1 is either going to go with F1 or with F2. But I have another graph that has a -1, right? Or I have another equation. This one also has a -1, right? So now I'm gonna identify the B. So you're gonna work with your partners. You're gonna try and decide, oh, I think this is the card that goes with this one that goes with the picture. So that remember, your end product is gonna be top equation, the graph, the pictures go in the middle, bottom equation, graph. On each one, I would identify that M and B is going to be the most helpful. You'll have the rest of the period today. I'm going to come around with a paper clip, and then you'll have tomorrow. This isn't done outside of class, it's only in class, okay? So like when I'm looking at this one, what can I tell in this picture? I can tell that the B is what? 4. B is 4. Can I tell what my rate of change is? It goes up. It goes up 6 and over 15. So be careful when you look at that. Where is our point that you're going to look for? So make sure you're using the scales as you